The VFL Cup 1987 is brought to you by Laurie Potter's Health Clubs, Ian Diffin, Isotrol Rustlac and Western Underwriters.
Well, good evening and welcome to a large slice of Australian football history. Incidentally, I promise not to mention the result, not at this stage of the telecast anyway. Tonight we're covering the National Panasonic Night Series, but of course it's much more than that. It's the first competitive VFL match for the West Coast Eagles. Tonight the Eagles take on Footscray. Now both sides have quite a few injury problems, so despite the absentees, tonight's game should be a very good guide for the Eagles against a side that's been just off the pace for the past few seasons in Melbourne. Certainly it's been a hectic and quite often controversial summer that's finally brought us here tonight. VFL Park, a small crowd, doesn't exactly represent the big time, yet this is the beginning. The Eagles and Footscray, and of course, just a few weeks away, the Eagles VFL opener against Richmond at Subiaco Oval. Let's check the two sides for tonight's game, beginning first with the West Coast Eagles. A lot of youth, as you can see. Interesting combination here. I think it's a side lacking quality small men, and of course in night football that could be a test tonight. Glendinning on the forward line, starting at centre half forward. A question mark there. John Annear in the centre. Laurie Keane down at full forward. A lot of question marks in this side, and some of those questions will be answered tonight. What about the VFL Bulldogs? Let's take a look at them, and certainly quite a WA connection. Andrew Purser, what a great player he's been for them. Simon Beasley, he's won the goal kicking over there. Phil Cronin, a new addition this season, cleared from St Kilda, and of course Murray Rance at centre half back. Plus quality small men, Brian Royal and Tony McGuinness, and they, to me, represent danger tonight. Well, a lot of Melbourne people in particular are already saying that the Eagles should win the VFL Premiership. Certainly our players have been kept very safe in the market. The Eagles had a quote of about 4-1 to win the pennant at one stage. Well, I for one think it's going to be a long, tough contract for our guys. So let's take it one step at a time, and let's take that first step together right after this. We'll be crossing to VFL Park.
First quarter, the West Coast Eagles and Footscray in the National Panasonic Cup from VFL Park. Ischenko having a long run at it, but gets beaten by Purser. Ball socket off the ground, pass forward. And picked up for Footscray and driven forward by Cronin. Certainly looks a lot different than he did in the St Kilda jersey, but don't they all? So he got the headgear on as Purser gets the first long kick up towards full forward for Footscray. The opportunity is for Beasley. If he gets the bounce, he does. Gets beautifully caught down there by O'Connell, and the ball was out of bounds.
Good tackle that time by O'Connell. A very strong tackle.
Son of a former Geelong player, John O'Connell.
So boundary throw in, right forward pocket for Footscray. Beasley is going to do the ruck work against Ischenko. He's a big solid lump, isn't he? And easily outreaches Beasley. Picked up by Pios, but he gets offloaded. A chance for Royal. Has a snapshot, looks out of bounds on the full. It is, and the free kick will go the Eagles' way in the left back pocket.
Well, they're terribly keen, this West Coast Eagle mob, Peter. They've been here since Saturday to get themselves acclimatised.
Yes, we saw them, of course, at the night match. They're going to play the man in front. That'll be to Bartlett. Looks a likely sort of a customer, doesn't he, Lou?
Looks a rugged sort of a player to me.
Ball picked up by, that was Barrich, down towards the centre wing position. The Eagles will swing into attack through the agency of their skipper, Ross Glendinning. It's the left half forward flank. Eccleston gets the favourable bounce and carts it deliberately out of bounds. With the umpire not paying a free kick, it will be a boundary throw-in. We saw Eccleston in a couple of games last year, late in the season. Might have played a night match. Purser jockeying for front position. Mamaxos overruns the ball. Umpire's found a free kick, played holding the man. And it looks as though it's going to the Eagles, and the recipient of the free kick will be Annear.
Ex-Collingwood, ex-Richmond.
Don't they look different, as I said, in different jerseys? Big Keane goes up. He's paid the mark, has he? No. Ball socket out of the pocket. Picked up by Big Purser. Purser's kick around to the centre wing position. Petraglia contesting, doesn't come out with the ball. Gets offloaded actually by one of his own players. And the umpire's found a free kick. Number 5 has the ball. That's Lamb. And Lamb boots the Eagles into attack again up towards the left half forward flank. Strong mark down there taken by Murray Rance.
Good mark to Rance, ex-West Australian, taking that mark on the half-back flank position. Decides to come around the wing on the member's side. And there's a good mark. That'll be, that's Ischenko. He might know it's a 15-metre penalty. Could have been lucky then, Dodd.
Very, very lucky.
This is Ischenko, a very strong-looking player. He's about 6'6", beautifully built. Ball hits the deck again. A bit of a scrimmage there at centre half forward. Kicked away that time by Holmes up there towards the West Coast goals. There's a chance now for the West Coast Eagles to go further forward. That's McNish getting the ball back there to Malaxos. Intercepted by McLean. A snap at goal that time by Mifka. And the ball finally forced through that time by Egan and through for 1 point. At the 3-minute mark of the first quarter, there's the coach's box, the Eagles' coach's box. Ball back out wide now, coming out to meet it is Rance. Glendenning well behind him. Rance gets the run of the ball, drives it wide, out wide. And that's Laidley going for the punch for the West Coast Eagles, and the ball is out of bounds. So it's out of bounds on the centre wing position. The West Coast Eagles 1 point to Footscray yet to score as we approach the 3.5 or just over the 3.5 minute mark of this first quarter. And this is the 5th match of the National Panasonic Cup Series. The ball goes back towards that half-forward line. The ball hits the deck. There's a chance now for Royal. Sidesteps beautiful, but the kick is a hurried one. And there's a good mark taken there by Pios for the West Coast Eagles down there at full back. Pios balks, kicks the ball back towards the centre of the ground. There's a free kick. It'll go to Rance again, and he's playing a very good game in this first 4 minutes of play. And there's a chance now for the West Coast Eagles to go further forward as we see Footscray, I should say, Bamblett going up there towards the goal, but that's well intercepted. And the ball taken down there by Laidley.
Laidley's kick, he's gone to the outer side. A strong mark, that was to Ford. He was almost off, but Bartlett stood his ground well. Let's watch the mark again. Strong stuff, Don.
Well, the West Coast Eagle fellow there took his eye right off the ball, and that's a penalty, and he'll be ruining the day if Michael Ford can line up and put this one through.
He's about 40 metres out. Low trajectory. Hit it like a 3-iron shot. Hit the post, actually. And one behind levels the scores at the 5-minute mark of the first quarter.
Well, that's Footscray's first, third shot at goal in this first quarter, Pete.
Royal had a shot and put it out of bounds, didn't he?
There was another shot after that went out of bounds.
Number 6 for the Eagles is Miles, the former Collingwood player. Miles drives it towards the member stand side over the 50-metre line. In fact, some distance beyond, picked up by Bartlett. Bartlett's gone for a long hand pass and it's taken away by Barrich, who sidesteps Groenewegen nicely back up towards centre field. I think he was looking for Lewis, but Malaxos standing his ground well. Ford goes for the hand pass to Brian Cordy. Only one Cordy in the Footscray side tonight now. Beasley, had to beat about 2 or 3 there. Petraglia thought about giving it to Bamblett, finally gets it over to McGuinness. He has a snapshot at goal, looks also off target. One behind. Approaching the 6-minute mark, Footscray lead by 1 point. Footscray, as Lou mentioned, having plenty of opportunities to score, but not able to convert. Number 3 is Main Waring, not Mannering. He prefers the Main Waring pronunciation, we understand, which is the American way of looking at things. McLean, beautiful balk, and he runs it into Bartlett and will get penalised for holding the ball. Had to beat about 3 of them. Good tackle by Bartlett. And Bartlett will take the free kick for the Eagles at the left half-back flank. Wobbly punt kick into the square. Knocked away by Eccleston. Ball hits the deck. Rance goes for the knock-on. Glendenning was there as well. Ford. Ball booted up towards the right half-forward flank and picked up for Footscray and driven forward by McGuinness. The former South Australian sees the ball bounce goalward, but it won't be a score. In fact, it's just about taken over the line by Miles. The boundary umpire didn't see that. I'm sure that was over the line. That certainly is. Yeah, that was a Pios, rather. And Beasley going off the ground already. Seemed to be limping. Mick Malthouse, as Brad Hardy would vouch for. You have to put in here at VFL Park. Sock it off the ground again for another point to Footscray at the 7-minute mark.
By Petraglia.
Number 38. So the Bulldogs lead by 2 points. And as you mentioned, Lou, having plenty of opportunities.
Certainly are, but they're kicking with the breeze. And into this quarter, that's the first by just on 7.5 minutes. 3 points, plays 1. Neither side have scored a goal yet. There's a short ball coming over now. And here goes down. He copped a heavy one. But in here, very strong play. Gets the ball out, but nicely picked up by McGuinness. And left foot snap towards the goals. He won't make it, will he? Yes, he will. It's a goal. What a beautiful kick.
Well, the first goal of the game going to